And here I thought we were going to get a father and son, gray and silver chapter. Hero once again strikes. Trollolololol. So the chapter starts off with Gray, and you can see that for the most part he recognizes Silver because he says, "You're," and then he says, "No, it can't be." So automatically it makes you suspect that at the very least he knows this guy. At the very least he feels as though it's impossible for this guy to be standing before him. So I was thinking maybe it's a possibility that maybe it's his father, or maybe it was Ul's lover, and probably something happened before Gray's eyes, or he heard that this person was dead, and he's just like, how is this possible that he's standing before me? So you can assume that at the very least something tragic, or he heard something tragic happen to this guy, and that's what has Gray thinking like, there's no way that this guy could be in front of me. And I wish there was more about that in the chapter, because the name of the chapter was Father and Son, but we didn't get really any of that. It was just mainly like he says, "You're," "No, it can't be," and Silver says, "You're mine," and then they disappear. And I was like, why name the chapter that if it's not going to be about that? Or, you know, at the very least give us a little bit more about it than just that. I thought we were going to cut to it at the very end or something, so I was a little bit disappointed with that, but at the very least we could get some form of context based on those few lines of dialogue, that at the very least he can recognize him somewhat, and it's safe to assume that he looks at him like, how is this man in front of me? So again, that's what I could come up with at best. He knew him, he's probably his father of some sort, or you know, Ul's lover, and he heard that he was dead, or he heard, or he's seen him die in front of his own eyes. Maybe that Tartarus revival machine was at work. And then the fight kicks off. We got Jubia, Gajil, and Natsu versus Keith, Tempesta, and Torafusa. For the most part, the fight wasn't, you know, not much really happened. I felt like you had a little bit here, one attacks, then this one blocks, and it kind of felt very similar to what happened last week. It was like, okay, Tempesta's gonna go win, and Gajil's like, no, I got this, and then another person comes in, so we didn't really get too much out of that little scruffle we had right there. And overall, it wasn't really a big fight scene nonetheless. It was just like, okay, they're fighting. I'm real interested though, because Makarov seemingly is headed towards where Lumen Historia is, down in the guild. So I'm guessing he's definitely taking the second warning into consideration, serious consideration, and he's probably going to let it loose. Now, what can it possibly do? What I'm guessing is, because with the end of this chapter, we had 2,000 at the very least of faces coming from the ground or whatever, and it's pretty much gonna, you know, sap all the magic. I'm thinking it's leading towards, and it's making me believe that Lumen Historia probably is just as pure magic of some sort, and whatever it can do, possibly if he unleashes it, this is what's going to end up defeating Face, I'm guessing, Lumen Historia. But at the same time, it's going to be a cost, because first of all, is that a one-time thing? When they use Lumen Historia, will it just be gone after that? Will there be some repercussions for the person that lets loose Lumen Historia? Will Makarov die at the cost of letting loose Lumen Historia, which would be really good? So overall, definitely you can see that it's approaching that way, because otherwise, how else? I mean, Wendy did everything in her power and could just barely stop one face. Imagine thousands of face. So I'm really leaning towards Lumen Historia is the answer to taking out all these face. Either that, or Lumen Historia will be activated after Face takes away everyone's magic. And then at the end of the chapter, Geer breaks free, and he's pretty much like, you know, excited as fuck that Face is still going according to plan. So definitely, it kind of makes me look back at the fight between the Celestial Spirit King and Geers. While he did freeze Geers, there was never really a clear-cut winner, and I really wish we would have got a clear-cut winner. I mean, at the end of the day, he froze him, but he just got out of his petrified state where he basically couldn't move. So I'm a little bit like, oh man, that fight would have been great to get a full-on winner. But nonetheless, Geer's back in the game, which I pretty much stated, like, it's no way that they were going to get rid of him. And it's making me wonder, so was it that he's just so strong that he's breaking out of it? Is it because Face is approaching? How is it that he's able to get out of that petrified state? Because he just starts cracking little by little and he's already talking. What the fuck was Fromov doing unhappy? I found that to be like the most distracting thing about the chapter, because it was just like weird as fuck. He's just there and he's like, no one's gonna get me here. It was like, I guess it's supposed to be funny, but I just found it weird and kind of gross, because it looked like a mushroom was growing out of his head. Like, can someone, you know, just decontaminate Happy's head right now? Ultimately, the two complaints I would have about the chapter is, one, the title is pretty misleading regarding what I thought I was getting into. Two, ultimately what I got, just got like, you know, one page of them like slightly talking to each other, and then poof, we didn't get any more Gray and Silver. And the whole thing with Happy with Fromov on his head, it just felt weird, and like, why would you attach yourself to Happy out of everyone? Was that like him trying to survive when the Allegria went down? Like, why would you go to Happy out of all people? And it just, ugh. But at the very least, we did get some progression. We got the shocking revelation at the end that Face is still a big factor in it, and that's why Geers wasn't really scared. He wasn't, you know, worried, because he knew that it was going to come. So it kind of makes me look back, and while even though Wendy did survive that thing, at the end of the day, it looks like, damn, you know, they're really in a dire situation in the sense that Wendy did all of that, got fucked up, nearly died, and it was really all for nothing because there's still thousands of face out there. So in that aspect, I like that. Real cool plot twist at the end. Mark Geers is back in the game, so progressing to what I ultimately suspected. I mean, they're not going to get rid of Mark Geers, and then, you know, the Book of End is still a factor in there as well. An overall good chapter with a couple things that I just didn't really care for, and I just felt like I really thought we were going to get, you know, a huge door open regarding the backstory between Gray and Silver, and we didn't get any of that. Let me know what you guys think. How do you think Lumen Histoire is going to go down? Do you think that's going to stop Face? Is that the answer to destroying and stopping 2,000 of these Face? Also, Mark Geers, at this point, do you think that he's going to be able to resurrect End? I think Face at some given point is either going to be activated and stopped by Lumen Histoire. It's going to be at some given point, you know, thrown out the window, and then it's going to be Mark Geers with the Book of End, and I think End will be the next step after Face goes down, and that's what Mark Geers will do, and End will be the next threat that we have to face. Just your overall thoughts of the chapter. What did you think about ForneverWorld being like a mushroom on Happy's head? It's just like, no. So I give this chapter 7 out of 10. Good chapter. Little cool plot twist at the end. Mark Geer's back in the game, and things are continuously progressing. But let's get a little bit more progression on that fight in the middle with Natsu and them. It was kind of like just a little bit of a scruff, and it, you know, it kind of just dissipated. Like, let's get more of that. And next chapter, we ain't gonna get Silver and Gray either, unless it's another troll name, because it says Erza versus Minerva. So I doubt we're gonna get much of Silver and Gray in there either. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.